SMP サイドストーリークンネチプ
Previous overview. Kunnecup and her friends were forced to take a detour due to an encounter with a bear, but after the night of the 6th they reached a place where they could see the sea, which was a guide for crossing the mountains, and they shouted with joy. The moment we saw the sea, we all shouted and rejoiced, but we still have a long way to go to the coast, and we still have to be careful about encountering bears. But I was able to see where I wanted to go, and I was able to relax my mind. We were all getting a little tired, so it meant a lot to us to be able to see our goal here. After that, we rejoiced only a little, and descended the mound and began to walk towards the sea. When we reached the river in the valley, we rested and replenished our waters, but we were all excited by the anticipation that we would soon meet the people we knew who had crossed the mountain earlier. After the break, we started walking triumphantly. Then, after we walked for a while, we heard a human voice from the front. As we went further, the voice seemed to be coming from the river. So Momu trotted towards the river, but a little further on, he stopped, turned around, and waved at us in a gesture to call us. As we trotted to Momu's side, we saw two men doing something in the river. They seemed to be trying to catch a fish, and when they saw us, they stopped moving and were a little surprised. We were happy to see someone other than ourselves, and we immediately called out to them to say hello. They greeted us with a smile and came out of the river to come to us. So Momu asked them if there were people around here who had come from over the mountains, but they tilted their heads and didn't seem to know. But they told us that if we went to Kodan over there, there might be someone who knew something, so we headed straight to Kodan. It was a little surprising, but maybe that's not surprising. It's been a long time since my sister left Palakodan, so it's not surprising that some people don't know about the people who have crossed the mountain. Anyway, if I go to Kodan, I might get some clues. We arrived at Kodan when the sky was covered with clouds, but the air was damp and it was about to rain, so we had to find a place to sleep first. I don't want to camp out in the rain. When I entered Kodan and told the first person I met about the situation and asked if there was a place to sleep, he led me to a small hut which was a storage shed, but I was relieved that the hut was large enough for the three of us to sleep. When I rested in the hut, I went to the man who had guided me earlier and asked him if he remembered the people who had crossed the mountain, and he replied that he remembered a little. He told me that my grandmother might know more, and he showed me to his house. When I entered the house, there was a gray-haired grandmother in front of me, and there were other women and 3 children who were about my mother's age. When I entered, everyone greeted me with a smile, and the old woman asked me, "Are you hungry?" I thanked the old woman and asked her if she remembered the people who had come over the mountain since she sat down in front of her. Then the woman next to me started talking about how she had met and talked to a girl who looked a lot like me, and she remembered my sister's name. Even though it happened a long time ago, I was surprised that she even remembered my sister's name. When I was touched and told her that it was my sister, she was very surprised, and then she told me a lot of stories about when my sister came. And she told me that the people who came over the mountains did not live near here, but had gone far away. The woman said that her family lived in Khotan on the coast when there were many people coming over the mountains, but as her family grew, she looked for a better place to live and later moved to this place. And since it's been a long time since she moved here, and few people remember those days, she promised me that tomorrow morning she would show me to the place where my sister used to stay. That night, we were invited to dinner by the family. It seemed to start raining in the middle of the meal, and the sound of rain could be heard in the house. So we went back to the hut and the 3 of us went to sleep. Today's story ends. The story is updated every Saturday. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.